Hello guys, Wahoo here, back with another video. This time around, Trove in 2021. I know it's 2022, but it's a year in review of all the updates that we had. So I made this. This is actually Tuesday. Guys gonna see it on Wednesday, but yesterday, Monday, I got the idea to do like a year review, and I started doing it, and I spent 6 hours on recording and then editing. And then when I was done editing, I still had 2 hours of rendering this whole video because it was 1 hour and 50 minutes. This is not what the video is. It's still gonna be a very long video, and I also messed up the end. So when you gotta see that, because there was just the maintenance, so I couldn't do the intro, so I did all the different things over the, the time. I could record that without using the game, but wanted to start in the game, but yeah, yesterday, like I said, 6 hours of that because I went for all the updates and all the events as well. So I ended up scrapping 6 hours of work. So made this one a little bit shorter. I tried to contain myself when I did this, but basically I'm just kind of talking about all the reviews, what I thought was like good about them, what could be better about them, and a little bit about the future, I guess, as well. I'm just kind of talking a little bit about maybe we'll see some, we know we're going to see some, because they said it on the live stream, we're going to see some class revamps, right? Some reworks and stuff like that. I'm also kind of convinced that we're not going to see a new class this year, because I think they're going to have. We just got the Bard this year, right? So I'm pretty sure we're not going to see a class this year. I think we're going to see it first in 2023. But I hope you guys enjoyed. You're still going to enjoy me just kind of revisiting all these, kind of going through Trovosaurus, because I didn't remember all the details about all the updates and stuff like that. But I just wanted to make this a year in review, so hope you guys think this is pretty fun, going kind of nostalgia through 2021, and just for the updates. Like I said, if I did the events as well, I will do kind of a video around Sunfest, because Sunfest wasn't really impressive in 2021, so I'm gonna put like an idea video, but that's gonna be later in the year as well. It's gonna also kind of revamp myself a little bit through this. I'm gonna go for a little bit more quality videos than quantity videos, and it's not gonna be a big thing. It's not gonna be crazy edits or anything like that. Still not gonna do all those things as this video also kind of represents, but I'm just gonna, when, for example, we have, patch notes video, I'm gonna read the patch notes first instead of getting the patch notes basically live, you could say it like that. I read the patch notes, then kind of make my opinion about it and stuff like that. But I'll read it, and then I'll pick some of them that I think is significant. So the patch notes video we're gonna get in the future, I will be more going straight to the core of it, instead of just rambling on for maybe like 30 minutes or so. So there is going to be some changes to some of the videos, the formats and stuff like that. I'm going to go for more, like I said, more quality and more to the point, instead of just rambling on, as I'm probably already doing right now. So hey, still 2021, right? Hey, that's the video. I know. But anyways, let's jump into the very first update of 2021. All right, so the first update we got of 2021 was on March the 23rd. Yeah, the 23rd of March we got our first, and it was Crack the Cord. And as you probably can see here in the background, don't really have any footage from that going over the patch notes, because I've 100% put it on the Discord, the link to it, but I think I might have just kind of said, well, there's not really much to this update, so I'm not really gonna do much of an update or an update video for it. And I think I'm just gonna do the same thing for in the future, if it's just something that's just an extra, a new biome, a new Delta biome, for example, especially if it's Delta biomes. Not if it has something significant that you should be aware of, I will of course make it, even though it's only a Delta biome. And sure, this has some sort of significance as well, but it added a few mounts, it added a few allies, some banners and mementos and stuff like that, and that's gonna be the theme for all of the biomes that ever is gonna get added, right? So I'll talk about it maybe, but just post it. I won't make like a big deal and go over the patch notes and everything like that. It's just kind of silly when they're just adding things like that. They did also add the hover cycles, which is pretty good mastery in themselves, but again, the whole video, I couldn't talk about that for like, you know, more than, I guess, a couple. I basically am talking about it now. I guess this is all I really wanted to kind of talk about it. But we did get I think the most significant was the mod UI configurations that you could now like use more or more extensive the mods and stuff like that. They open up for that, so that was pretty awesome. That at least they did that and added some of these for the, you know, the mod CFGSs and stuff like that to just make them more more complicated, I guess you can call the mods. I guess that's overall. I don't know much about modding and stuff like that. I just know that people have been using it for making a little bit more advanced ones. It at least seems like it is a little bit more advanced, but I don't know. I don't know much about mods, but I wish that they would. I think there's a few mods that you just add, like some of the symbols mods, like for example the chat mod, and also some of the other ones as well. For example, timers and stuff like that on buffs, like, you know, what's it called, XP potions and stuff like that. Especially now that we use them so much because of the Paragon update, right? That we're gonna talk about when we get that one. We did get extra, you know, mastery did get extended, you know, added a few things to the different color because we were getting up there. And also, of course, they made the depths of the delves deeper, 170 and below, doing that as well. But not really much more to this update, you know, other than new biome and then the hover cycle. So yeah, what you've seen in the background is just like old footage. I don't know, it was tagged as party. I don't know why, but I didn't have the footage to kind of have that going on in the background. So while I was talking about this, so just added some random, I guess, very old, very old, you know, very old footage. But yeah, that was Crack the Cord, and I'm not gonna extend it the time talking about it any more than this. So let's just move on to the next update of the year. All right, the next update we had this year of 2021 was on April the 27th. 27th of April, we got the Chloromancer rework. Finally, or the very first rework we ever gotten of a class, like a significant one. We have gotten like updates to things and stuff like that, but this was like, and also probably like the most anticipated one. And it just did a lot for this class. It really did a lot for this class. It, you know, shot it from being actually the worst class to being one of the best classes. I don't think it's changed much in the meta. It hasn't changed for me. I feel like it's kind of clunky. You're still relying very much. Not that they should change it again, because the playstyle should be as the Chloromancer's playstyle should be. And I've talked about this in other reworks, and probably going to mention it we actually had another rework, right? I'll get to that one as well. But for the Chloromancer rework, we at least you know, saw some significant improvement, but not too much in what you rely on your plants and stuff like that. And that's just not the meta for me, at least. Maybe you know, it's you know, went from whatever rank it was before to an S tier now because of, you know, Leviathans and stuff like that. It's like sustainable damage is probably what it, you know, is why it went from there. But it hasn't on my personal list, if you could say it like that. It hasn't changed. It didn't, the playstyle or the rework of it did not change that significantly for me personally. It didn't really change anything at all, and that was basically the whole update. It was just, you know, changing the Chloromancer. There was a few extra additional updates, but they didn't actually add anything else. I guess it wasn't that far from the other, you know, it was like a month between each other, I guess. So it wasn't really crazy time between the two updates we just talked about. But it did get nerfed twice because it was soloing. Leviathans. Like you 10 Leviathans soloing on the PTS server, and it got nerfed on the PTS server. And then when it hit live, it got nerfed again. Not as much, but it did get nerfed again. So yeah, it's great. Well, looking forward to some of the other reworks. Hopefully, we'll get a night rework in 2022. It's at least the class that needs it the most compared to all the other ones. So I really hope it's of course it's gonna get a rework. That would be amazing, and that's probably a rework I will play more, because I guess I'm more of a night player than I'm a Chloromancer and also a Lunar Lancer. But we'll talk about the Lunar Lancer when we get that rework, because that was also something that happened, of course, in 2021. But nothing much really to say about this update, other than, you know, it going up the tier list. But it's in the same tier, you know, as S tier as, you know, the Ice Age and the Gunslinger. But I think people don't really haven't switched to the Chloromancer, or are not going to switch to the Chloromancer. It's just because people, like, the Ice Age hasn't been nerfed, and people like invested into the Ice Age before, so it's just like, why would they move over to the, you know, to the Chloromancer? It's basically just about playstyle. It's not really about the damage. There could be, if you really go into the nitty gritty, you know, it might be that, you know, Chloromancer maybe do a little more damage than the Ice Age, or the Ice Age do a little bit. I don't know exactly the numbers, but I just know that they do about the same damage. And it's always been, to me, is that if you really like class, the playstyle of the class, you will do more damage. You know, it doesn't matter if you are, you know, a Chloromancer now, or you are a Ice Age. Depending on what you like the most, the playstyle of, you will do more damage, just because you are more happy with the playstyle, and it's gonna come into, what would you call it, the damage numbers. It will just show, because you just know and you just love it better. And I think that's why people just, you know, probably stick around or stayed with the Ice Age. I haven't seen a lot of Chloromancers, but again, I don't hunt Leviathans that much, so maybe that's why. So, but anyways, that was the Chloromancer as a regrowth, as they called it, right? But it was a Chloromancer rework, and it was amazing because it was starting to become a little bit of a meme, right? So it was great that the Chloromancer now, or all Chloromancer mains now, at least do absolutely amazing damage. So yeah, this was the second update for 2021. Let's move into a bigger one. And when I mean a big update, of course, I mean the biggest update we had all year, and it was on the June 15th, 2021. Of course, we got the tune-up update that brought us the new class. We haven't seen a class in quite a while. I think maybe was it 2 or 3 years before that, before we got this. Of course, now it's about, you know, 6 months ago, right? But I'm counting from when it released to when we had the Vanguardian, right? Maybe that's only 2 years. I think it might only be 2 years before we got the board. So we might not see a new class this year, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna see one in 2023. We are gonna see a couple of reworks for sure. I think it's too much to hope for a new class this year. I think we'll see at least 2 reworks, but maybe we'll see 3. I think more than that would just be crazy. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be at least 2. 3 is a little bit uncertain. 4 is definitely not going to happen. But yeah, we got the Bard, and I'm just very happy with this class. It's not something I play very much. It's not on my list. And when I mean it's not on my list, it means, of course, it's not on my list to get to level 40. Paragon levels level 40. I just have other classes I like to enjoy playing more, but it would definitely be like, maybe I only need 6 classes to 40, so it would probably be my 7 or 8 or something like that I would go. It doesn't mean it's bad. It was a very good, some people, you know, saying very expensive class and all that stuff, but I think it's great that we have some more expensive classes. Especially, you know, some of the starter classes are super easy to come by, right? And then you go into the little more advanced ones, and they get more and more expensive. And this, to me, is a more of expensive one. And I think there should be something you grind for. You just don't unlock it at the start, right? And I know you can unlock it by paying for it and stuff like that if you want to do so. But I think it's nice to have something to chase for. Chase items in games are very scarce. Like, many games go to like the RNG approach instead, but this is more of a chase. You know exactly how much you need for getting that. It's not like random whenever you're gonna unlock this class, right? It's not like, oh yeah, suddenly you open some sort of box and that's gonna suddenly be a Bard in it, right? There's a Bard class. Oh, okay, great. Like, you work towards it. You gather the materials, and you can unlock it when you didn't gather all the things. It's not behind anything. You know, it's not behind like RNG, like I said, or RNG basically. It's just not there's no randomness to it. You can see, and it's not like you have to unlock a recipe either. You know, you don't, when you know we're gonna get a recipe, you don't know what the materials are. Well, people would have unlocked it in that sense, but you know, it is not behind all sorts of RNG, and that's just what I like about it. And many people, you know, think it's very expensive, but I think there should be some expensive classes, which is not really it. There's like 2, like the Vanguardian is getting a little bit cheaper, of course, but the Vanguardian and the Bard are the most expensive classes. But you shouldn't start with those. You should start with some of the starter classes, right, as a new player. And then over time, you should just unlock all the classes. And yeah, just I think it's just great. But more about like the Bard itself, I think it's amazing. Like in the way it is designed, it just shows a lot of creativity. I don't know if it's like only Gamigo that was that developed everything around it. Maybe the Bard name was maybe on the character sheet or somewhere at joinworld when that is. But I really really hope. And it kind of shows maybe in the in the Lunar Lancer, we'll talk about that as well, rework, that the creativity is there for Gamigo, and that makes me very very hopeful, because we are gonna hopefully see more classes to the game. That would be weird if we never saw a new class. Like I said, I might not see one this year, but next year maybe, right? But it just shows a lot of creativity in designing a new class. Like it just has a lot of abilities, a lot of like the learning curve is a little bit more there, instead of if you saw my Twitter, I tweeted that the Lazy Peon, for example, made a very nice and very fair review of Trove, and he said something that the gameplay was very repetitive, like how the classes work, but I think he took a boomer or something like that. No, he took the candy barb. He took the candy barb, and the candy barb is amazing still, like, but it is very generic in how it plays, right? The Bard is not, like, it has so many abilities and much more. So I think that if he's got his hands on the Bard, he would have more fun, at least with like the abilities and stuff like that. So yeah. It's great, and it is, again, I'm very hopeful when we're going to see another class that they will bring that creativity into a new class. So maybe, the Bard is not really my cup of tea in how the playstyle is, but I'm hopeful for the future that we're going to see a new class, and it's going to be just as creative, and that's just absolutely amazing. We also saw a new smoky delves to the delves, and of course we also saw Crystallology hitting 300. So that's awesome. 300 Crystallology profession is now available, right? It's still available. And we of course also saw other professions as well. So I'm very very confident that we're also going to see the last profession, which is rune crafting, being 300 as well. But I don't know if it's going to happen this year. Of course, it has to make sense. The Bard was kind of Crystallology kind of made sense, and then Paragon levels, rune crafting and stuff like that. So, yeah, we just have to see what rune crafting is gonna, or they can just put it in. It doesn't have to absolutely have to make sense to each other, but yeah, just kind of wanted to put it in there as well. But yeah, I love professions and tomes. Wings is my cup of tea. That's what I love about Trove. One of like some of the, again, because you know exactly what you're working towards. I know exactly what you're working towards. That's what I love. I do like some RNG, but I don't like too much RNG. I'd rather just grind for it. I just like to grind for it, and you have to grind so and so much, and that's what you do, and you just keep going, and then when you have it, you feel that satisfaction inside. So yeah, very amazing. Just looking very much forward to whatever class we are going to get next. Like I said, maybe not this year, but next year probably, like 2023 somewhere. Like I would say summer 2023. So about a year and a half from now, I would assume we would get a new class, depending on how it is and stuff. But I hope it's gonna be just as amazing creativity wise as the Bard was. So yeah, let's move on to a little bit of a smaller update from this one. All right, so the next update is a little bit of a smaller one, but also the update I would love to forget in this year, because I will tell you guys when we just kind of go over it, but it is the Depth Steppers on August 31st, 2021. We got the Depth Steppers update, and the Depth Steppers update is just the like kind of, it's not a biome update per se. It's more of a, to me at least, it feels like more of a targetable farming mementos, because I call the mementos basically Pokemon. You gotta catch them all, right? But it feels like you can then now more targetable you can get in there and get those mementos that you're looking for. And I hope we are going to see more of this in the future, where you can target farm the mementos, because it's something that people 100% don't like about the delves. And I see this coming up, like arguments about delves being bad and stuff like that so often. So I hope really this is going to be something in the future they're going to look into more, so you can target farm these. Like it shouldn't drop more, they shouldn't up the drop rate of the mementos, but just make it so you can target farm it some more, because that's actually, you feel like you're progressing. If you have to go through like 10 floors of random whatever before you get to the one, and then you don't get the memento, that doesn't feel good. If you can go to that straight, that level and that biome, people are going to just do it. And yes, sure, you have to farm some other stuff and to get into it or whatever, open it, sure. But again, you have those expectations that when you get to that floor and you get to that biome in the delves, you are gonna have a chance of it. And yeah, sure, it's not a guaranteed drop, but you still feel like you should have gotten it, right? So just you're kind of working towards one thing, and that's just better when you can target farm it. Those chase items is great, but if you're just chasing randomly, it's not good. So take some of that RNG out, at least something I would be awesome about. So why I want to forget all about this here is because on the PTS server, they made it so this didn't enter into the update itself. They put out rings. They put out rings for this, and I was absolutely convinced that we were getting new class gems. We were getting new class gems because they were giving us rings to test out the different abilities, and I thought, wait, they're just giving us rings so we can test it, so we don't have to go out get these random, I thought it was going to be like, hey, you can now go to, because I have a lot of class keys, right? And they don't use it for anything. I can go there, I can then, deconstruct it or collect these class gems, and I'll get some dust and I'll get some other stuff, but I really don't want to, right? But this would make it so, yeah, sure, they would introduce, I just talked about having less RNG, but of course there would only be a pool of 5 different gems or 4 different gems, right? And it will also, of course, there will be some RNG with the different colors and stuff like that, but it would make it so, hey, you could just go here, get yourself a class gem, doesn't really matter which one it would be to start out with, and then later on, when you got some more keys, you could then, go for the one you want, and then that would make some replayability for, for the Shores of Everdark, and that's also getting ourselves the, the class gems that we wanted. And maybe you wanted different class gems so you could swap them out when you needed them and stuff like that. And I got bamboozled because I thought it was new class gems, and I put like 3 videos out there or something like that, or maybe even 4, where I was just talking, hey, new class gems. I'm so happy, with new class gems, and because I was ready to, rework all my class guides and stuff like that, because I update my class gems, also do that, but I update my class builds, my build videos for all the classes, right? Whenever there's something major that happens, I rework them, or I link to what I talked about and rework, and I make a bigger deal out of making them people aware of whatever changed and stuff like that. But if it's something minor that changes, like for example changing a subclass or something like that, I'm not gonna make a completely new video just because of that. It just feels like wasting time to do a thing like that, because I'm just gonna update the description and people can check that out. And if they use a different subclass, it's not really gonna be the biggest of deals, right? It's not gonna be the biggest of deals, but class gems is definitely something that would be something I would make completely new videos. So I was ready to make new ones, and I was talking about it. I made so many videos, and yeah, like I said, I got bamboozled. Because that wasn't what it was. But they gave us rings on the PTS server, so I thought it was just gonna be like, hey, test out the ability, see what you got. Like, they wanted us to give feedback, so I gave feedback, and I talked about like, I like this one, I don't like this one, and stuff like that, and just gave us that. And we had so many we tested, and there was so many great ones, and I just made so many videos, and yeah, it turns out it wasn't that. I'll talk about that when we get to that update. But yeah, I got deeply bamboozled because I thought it was something completely different. So I'm sorry if I bamboozled somebody else, but I was truly bamboozled, and I'll take it. I'll take that hit, because that was But they didn't say anything about it. They did put the rings in. Maybe I was just, you know, who was I to know? Who was I to know, right? But yeah, that was the Depth Strider Stepper, sorry, update that we got. So yeah, let's just move on to the next one, and then, hopefully I won't get that much bamboozled in the future, but also I probably are. All right, next update was also because they continued the update or the rings and stuff like that, and I made new class gems and stuff like that because I thought they were just testing out more stuff and then added it. I thought I knew we were gonna like kind of get an update before because time wise I was kind of knowing that we would get a new update before, you know, the end of the year. But we got the Lunar Leap on the 12th of October, which contained, of course, the Lunar Lancer, also very anticipated, it's called, update for the Lunar Lancer, and it's absolutely amazing rework. But again, we got the we got more updates like we got in the previous one where we, you know, all these new abilities and stuff like that, which I again thought was new class gems. So I won't talk too much about that, but it was in there as well, and that's why I got bamboozled for that one as well. And I just said, you know, shouldn't be bamboozled in the future, but yeah, of course I mean like in the 2022s. Hopefully I won't get bamboozled there, or I will probably. But let's talk about the Lunar Lancer rework because that's what this was all about, except for also the other things as well. But the Lunar Lancer update that we were here, and again, the rework was absolutely amazing. I don't play the Lunar Lancer back then, really, or I haven't played it really in it because it's still not really my cup of tea. But I do love how creative they also got with the rework. Like they really did something amazing. A lot more creative gameplay, a lot more interesting, except for just using your number one ability, like swinging that spear back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Nobody really wanted, you know, there's some people that really like the Lunar Lancer, right? We got Lord Faffy that really enjoys that one, or at least did it at one point, right? I don't actually know if he liked the rework. I haven't actually asked him. I should have probably asked him at some point, but I think it's very interesting. And again, I put this out there when they did their live stream about it. I said, hey, I think his name is Adam. I think that's the guy that makes the reworks or talks about like the technical parts of it, or maybe that's the event guy. I'm not sure, but you know, I tweeted Adam, but I said, hey, dude, if this is like it's gonna be the standard of like the reworks, you know, I'm very happy to see the new ones that are coming because we know we are gonna, like I talked earlier in one of the other updates we had for the Chloromancer. Yeah, I talked about that. We're probably gonna see like 2 reworks this year as well. We're probably not gonna see a new class, but 2 to 3 new reworks this year. I'm pretty sure, really sure of 2. Like I'm very. Of course, we're gonna get 1 rework. That's just I don't want to also oversell it and say, or people coming back and said you said there was gonna be 3, and I was like, I don't know, really. But yeah, I think 2. We can put our money on 2. I think we can do that. 3 is more of a gamble, I would say. 4 is not gonna happen. 4 is definitely not gonna happen because then all the updates during the year is gonna be reworks, and I don't think we need that. We need some other stuff. What it is, I don't know yet, but definitely need couple of reworks at least. There's also some other classes that don't really need reworks. The Knight needs it, for example, but other than that, and it's not that the Knight is bad, it's just that it needs some, you know, it needs a little bit of more interesting gameplay as we got for the Lunar Lancer. So I hope what happened to the Lunar Lancer is going to happen to the Knight as well, as creative. But we do have to keep in mind, it does still have to feel as that class, right? So a Knight does have to feel like the Knight is now, right? It just like the Lunar Lancer also has to still feel like the Lunar Lancer, right? You can completely rework the class and have it completely new abilities and stuff like that, but then it wouldn't be the Lunar Lancer. And the same thing goes for the Knight, you know. Not that we have to stick to the old but it just has to be reinvented, the abilities that it has, because it still has to feel like a knight, right? Or the knight as it is, right? But yeah, that was the Lunar Leap, the rework. There was not really much more that was going on with this one, other than that, you know, a few other tweaks and stuff like that. But that was basically it. That wasn't really much other than that. And then the whole bamboozle thing, which we are not going to speak ever again of. let's bury it in 2021 and look forward to 2022. But let's hop into the very last update of the year. All right, so the last update of the year, of course, was the Paragon update, or polished Paragon update, and we got this around the 16th. I think it was 16th of November, if I am not mistaken. Yes, it is. And that was the Paragon update, and I pretty much loved, of course, this update. I love this update not only because I know that a lot of people don't care for it per se, because it's just like, what is it really? I love that we are, because I'm not gonna claim this as my idea. I'm not gonna say it's not my idea. I'm not gonna say it is my idea or whatever, right? But I did make a video a couple of years ago where I was talking about, you know, the never-ending shadow towers, which turned out to kind of be the delve. I don't know if it, again, I never confirmed it, that maybe it's just a coincidence, and maybe it was on the table way before I spoke about it. But we kind of came up with the idea for the delve, or this never-ending shadow towers, on stream, and then I kind of thought, this is so cool, you know, and I just made videos about it. And then not too long after that, you know, we got the delves, and I used the word delve because the delve, and I found out later that delve is just kind of a common word for going, you know, digging down, but I got the word from Path of Exile, right? And that's where I used it. But the Paragon update, Paragon, I used that word as well. I used prestige as well. Actually, in my idea video, I actually used prestige, you know, but I spelled prestige wrong from Maple Story 2, because I just thought it. Well, I was just, you know, you're gathering all this experience every single week, and then they just disappear, and, you know, never goes anywhere. So I thought it was just be cool that we could get, you know, these Paragon levels, or I call them also like prestige levels, but Paragon is of course from Diablo 3. And I just wanted to have this because it just went away every time, and I was just kind of sad that was, you know, I grinded, you know, some experience every single week, and it went away, and that's why I came up with the idea. And it was a little bit more further between each other when I made the video and when we got the Paragon update. But I love that we are getting experience every single time. Like, it doesn't go away. Like, it does reset still on the leaderboard, but it doesn't go away per se. And I just kind of love that. Maybe it was my idea. That's why I hope it was my idea. But I do like the whole system around, you know, the pinatas, the levels, the loops, the rings, all that stuff. Especially also the rings. It is RNG, but I do like the rings, and it is just great. Really great, really great. The only negative, of course, I have, well, two negative I have, is the hidden effects. Hidden effects is basic. That's the whole bamboozle thing. That was, of course, when we got, I thought it was clash gems. Turned out not to be clash gems, but the hidden effects. And I don't use the hidden effects. I know people have polished their rings as you do 100 times because of the mastery you get from the badge, but I'm pretty sure people don't do that anymore. Because some of the, of course, the abilities are kind of suck, and it's random which ones you get. And I think it would just be much better if it had been clash gems, to be honest. But yeah, maybe they were just too underwhelming. You know, the hidden effects. Maybe the rings themselves. You know, were just kind of it just stat sticks in a way. Maybe they wanted to make it more interesting. I can see that. I can give you props for that if that was the case, because rings are just rings, right? And they don't really. Maybe they're just stat sticks, and that's what they tried to make it more interesting. That may be it. And if that was the case, I tip my hat for that, because it is very important to make stuff more interactive and more stuff. I mean, maybe the hidden effects just didn't hit the mark, right? But effort point for trying, right? Effort point for trying, right? And just not like, hey, here is stat, use stat, and then never look at stat again, right? And that's kind of it. But the bigger thing that was for this update that I didn't like this hidden effects is one thing. I got bamboozled. That's it. Let's move on, right? But also, of course, we got ring crafting to 300. That's just a given, I guess. But yeah, we got 300 that as well. And again, I'm just gonna say, I think rune crafting, because that's the last profession we need, is gonna be updated. Hopefully this year. I hope we're gonna get 300 for that as well, because now it's kind of unbalanced. One is not there. But the one thing I did not care for does have something to do with Bomberell. The one thing I do like about they changed today was that the collection rewards are not tradable anymore. So we got the bots out of there. But I do want to say that I think that they should change the Bomberell where to. I also have some ideas that I'm gonna, I'm gonna think about some more. Maybe make a video about it to the PvP system, because we need an update for that. Bomberell itself is just kind of. Yeah, and people, when they already done it, they're not gonna go back to it and stuff like that. So I'm thinking we should maybe do something with it. I'll make a video about that later this year, maybe if I feel like there's something that's gonna maybe put some more ideas out there, right? Definitely gonna make more ideas video during this year, right? But the thing is that the tradable things didn't go anymore, or you can trade it anymore, so the bots went out, and now the games doesn't start very often. I think you should just do like a 5-minute rotation where it is put out, like whenever there's 5 minutes, somebody just starts it, and then if you're the only one, you win. That's it. You move on, right? And I know that, hey, that seems like very easy because there's like wins every single day and stuff like that. I don't know what precisely the thing is, but the thing I think was absolutely really bad about it is that now that Bomberell no longer gives experience, right? And I can see where they're coming from. Like, they wanted people not to be like with the Paragon levels. They didn't want people just to be in Bomberell, but this also hurts people that are leveling up. Because right now I wasn't gonna go to Bomberell and level up there. I was still gonna do my dungeons and stuff like that, but people that are still gathering things from Bomberell kind of just puts everything on pause except for the PvP. And I think you should have just nerfed it. They should have just nerfed it. And not because I had to make a completely new XP guide. I did, and I actually did a better one, so I'm kind of appreciated that. I did make a better one, so props for that. I definitely made a better one. But it did end up, being no longer experience, and also you don't leveling up, you don't get experience towards your tomes and stuff like that. So you're basically putting everything on pause to do Bomberell, which is kind of so random and stuff like that. It's just, it's not. I don't feel like it's a good, rewarding feeling that it doesn't give experience anymore. I don't understand why they did that, except for you should go out and play with other people. I get that, but I think you just nerfed it, like maybe down to 50% or something like that, so people wouldn't be enticed, but you're not putting, putting a pause to people's progression that are, new to the people and stuff like that. So other than that, it was a pretty significant, update, very amazing. I think the amazing was, except for the experience and except for the hidden effects, I can live with the hidden effects. If the hidden effects was that, but the major thing was the experience to Bomberell. Really, I feel like it really put a stop to many people, like new players and stuff like that. And yeah, people are of course not going to go there for experience, but yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with it. I've talked about this many times. I think it should have been a nerf, and I would have made a new XP guide as well, because it wouldn't be the best way to level up, but at least it would be, hey, you wouldn't be pausing everything. So yeah. That was the all the updates. There was the Trove in a year in Trove, or a review Trove in a year in Trove review in a year. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, thank you so much for watching this one. And as I said in the beginning, it was going to be a very long video, so I tried my best to cover it as fast as possible, but also as fast as I basically could, and so most relevant and all that stuff. So, but all that in the intro as well. But it's still quite a long video, so thank you for watching for this long, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!